G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. Today we'll be looking at Linux Mint 19.1 and we're going to be looking at some of the newest things that have been implemented in 19.1. So let's get a start on that. It's a long-term support release which will be supported until 2023. And it comes with updated software and brings refinements and many new features to make your desktop experience more comfortable. So, new panel layout. So they've got a new panel layout, and I'll try and filter through these things so I don't have to read the whole lot to you. Comes with a new panel layout, so let's check that out in the welcome screen. So in the welcome screen, you have the first steps and you have a desktop layout here, traditional and modern. I'm currently running the modern layout and we'll have a look at the differences with that very soon. So this is where you can, on first steps, you can choose to continue with the modern desktop panel layout or the traditional. So that's where you can choose that in the welcome screen. I don't know if it's available anywhere else but the welcome screen to change it back if you wish to do so after you've changed it. I think you have to open the welcome screen back up like I just did. I can't find it anywhere else. If anybody knows if it's anywhere else, a comment would be nice to let me know because I can't find it. It ships with a window list with app grouping. So it's and a window preview, a feature which has become the norm in other major desktop operating systems, whether it's in the form of a dock in Mac, a panel in Windows, or a sidebar in Ubuntu. The panel looks more modern, but it's also much more configurable than before. So this is what they're talking about here, is this here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at those differences. So on the left we're running Mint 19 and on the right we are running 19.1. So if we take a look at, if we open files up and we have a look at that, now you see you've got your launcher icons here, which are the applets, and you've got your window listing here. So in 19.1 you have just that and it tells you home, it tells you the name of it, and it's got the window listing there. What did they call it? Yes, it's the window preview that's on that. So that's the window preview. Now they had that on here as well, but they were separate. It's now all in one. So you can still add this window list as an applet if you wish. So if you was to add applets to panel, you could go down and look for window list and you could put your window list, click on that, add to panel, and you got your window list. But this was made to work in a more modern fashion. Now, if we have a look at here, if we right click this one, we've got home computer trash launch preferences. If we right click this one in 19.1, we have a lot more. Home computer rubbish, unpin from panel, places, so you can, they got jump lists directly to all these places within Nemo. You've got preferences as well. Move to another workspace. You can choose a workspace. Make it visible on all workspaces. So there's quite a big difference there. Preferences. So you can see the difference in the list there. So they've added quite a fair bit there. So jumping, these little jump lists here are quite good. Now, the other thing is, if we're on this one, if you just keep clicking that, it'll just keep adding more and more. So if we put that on documents, downloads, and music. So you can see that they're named here in the window listing, music downloads documents. Now in here, if we click that, that minimizes and maximizes when clicking. So if we want to go to other places, we can open another one. We can go documents and we can right click and we can go music. So we've got that as well, and we've also got downloads. So as you can see, what have we got? Downloads, documents, music, and we can jump between the window previews, and you'll see a little number on the app here at the bottom on the icon. It's telling you there's 3 windows open, so that's associated with the same application. So if there's more than one window open for that application, it'll show you the number of windows open. If there's only one, it won't give you a number. So that's how that works. So that's the panel layouts and the app grouping. Now I believe it's actually part of, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but that app grouping is also part of where is it? If we go to download, oh, I haven't done that. The icing task manager, I believe they're using that and they've baked it into the system, but it's still here, it's still available to install as an applet or an extra applet. And it'll probably work similar, but it probably, because it's baked in, I think it's the icing task manager. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think I read somewhere that that was the case. So next we have panel settings. Now these panel settings we can adjust. They've got different zone areas now in the panel. So let's have a look at that. So I might actually panel settings, I might just stop that from hiding for now. I've done that for a reason. Always show panel. Okay, so there's 3 different zones here. So if we just close that for a minute and we go to panel edit mode, I shall put the show desktop in the center zone. Now if you see when the hand turns to an X, that means you're in the right center position. Well, actually it didn't stay, did it? So maybe it goes from X to the hand. That's in the center. Okay, it's the other way around. And that's your center zone. So we'll turn off panel edit mode and we will go to panel settings. Now in the panel settings, you've got a panel height, left zone. So these are the left zone, this is the center zone, and you've got the right zone. So these symbolic icons you can actually adjust in height by sliding this, and you can see the symbolic icons getting bigger and also smaller. You can change the size of these icons on the left zone. If I make it 48, I think you need to adjust this higher than 48 for that to take effect. So if we go to 48, there we go. So we can make that, but the center one, we can make that say 32, 24. So you can adjust all of these to suit whatever you like. So if we take that down to 32 and we drop this back down to 40, but what we can do, you can scale to panel size exactly. You can do that, and you can also scale to panel size optimally, and we can do that with the center one. And the right panel ones, I think I read that it's only 24. Let's have a look at that. By default, Cinnamon features a dark, large 40 pixel panel where icons look crisp everywhere. And in the left and center zones, they're restricted to 24 pixels on the right where the system tray and status icons are, but you can adjust that with this one here that I just showed you. Okay. So that's the panel zones, but I'll keep it scaling the panel size, scaling to the panel size optimally. That's the way I like it, and I shall go to panel edit mode and put this back in its rightful place, like so, and turn off panel edit mode. Nemo was 3 times faster than before, so the file manager is lightning fast. Yes, it does feel a lot faster, I must say, but having used it, it's definitely feeling faster and not as sluggish as what it used to be. Whether it's lightning fast, yep, it's pretty fast, I must say. So you could probably say that statement's roughly correct. So we got desktop settings were revamped. So if we have a look at desktop settings, we go to customize. You can choose to adjust these ones here horizontally or vertically, sorry. You can spread them apart further, you can make them closer, and horizontally you can put them closer to the monitor edge. You can put them further away, and you can also reset the grid spacing. You can reverse sort, and you can put from large, larger, small, smaller. I'll put it back on normal, and the direction can be horizontal. It says reverse sort. I don't see that changing anywhere, so I'm not sure what's going on with that one. You can sort by name, size, type, date, and we can put that back on vertical. So visual improvements were made to icon sizes and spacing, and Nemo now uses an X-App Preferences window. So that's what we're looking at here. So if we have a look at the preferences, edit and preferences in Nemo, edit and preferences. I now have this sidebar down the side instead of these buttons up the top. So you've got all the normal choices, but and you got this sidebar, which is probably easier. Really, looks a lot more modern, I think. So that's what that is about. On supported file systems, ext4 without home directory encryption, Nemo is now able to show file creation times. I'm not really sure about that one. Okay, so Nemo can display file creation times. I'd have to think that that's in Nemo preferences, display, and it would have to be date created time, maybe modified time. I'm not really sure. It'd have to be one of those, I believe. Also, you can configure Nemo to show thumbnails depending on the directory you are browsing. So the other thing we can do there is go to Edit and Preferences. Under Preview, Show Thumbnails, you can go per folder. So let's try that. If we go to My Pictures, now you see you have that little option there. So that's turned off here. So if I go into this one here, I can turn that on to show thumbnails. now it's showing, so I had to reset that. But in here it's not showing. I can choose to show it there, have to go out and come back in. Now it's showing thumbnails, and I can choose not to show. So you can choose to show thumbnails per folder. So that's pretty handy. But I might actually go back to edit and preferences, preview, and I'll just put always. So other improvements is NVIDIA cards, and the window manager feels more responsive. So you now also have the possibility to turn off VSync in the system settings. So let's have a look at that one. So in the settings, if we go to, I think it was General, enable VBlank requires Cinnamon restart. So that's where that is in the settings. So it took me a little while to find that one. I thought it went under window or something like that. Just had to keep looking around and search, and so I found that under General. Cinnamon 4 rarely ventures past 250 megabytes of RAM on NVIDIA. I'm not sure what these ones are. The inhibit applet shows inhibitors. I'm not really sure about that. Also back to here, the huge number of upstream changes were ported from the GNOME project. So similar to Mutter, Muffin now uses embedded version of this, and many Mutter performance improvements were applied to Muffin. Muffin is the is what's used in the Cinnamon desktop instead of Mutter, which is used in GNOME. You can choose which calculator application should be the default in preferred applications. So let's have a look at that. So in preferred applications, you now have a choice of, if you have a different calculator, you have a choice there to choose a different calculator if you've got another one installed, just like there, and I don't have anything else there. So yep, that's that one there. I'm not sure what these ones are referring to. Support for X screensaver hacks and WebKit themes was removed from the Cinnamon screensaver. So something to do with the screensaver. I don't really use screensavers, so I'm not really sure what that's referring to. And applets and desklets can now define custom widgets to use in their settings dialog. I'm not really sure about that one. Applets and desklets. So let's have a look at that one. So there's not a lot of changes there, so I'll have to read that again. I'm not really sure what they're referring to there. Yeah, I'm not sure what that's referring to, so somebody might have to enlighten me on that one, I think. The update manager is able to list mainline kernels and to show their support status. So yeah, we can do that from here. Oh no, we can't. Cannot. So let's go to here. Edit and preferences. No. View Linux kernels. There we go. And there's a warning there. Installing a new kernel can sometimes cause problems, especially if you're using proprietary drivers. So be careful with that one. Can pause that and read if you wish. So it shows you these ones are all being superseded. This one's supported until April 2023. This one here is supported until August 2019. So it's probably not a good idea to install that one unless you're troubleshooting some hardware issues. Then that would come in very handy for that. And you've got a button here to remove old kernels. So that's pretty handy. So a new button was added to make it easier to remove unused kernels. Software sources was given a new look, as well as the welcome screen. And what they're talking about there is edit software sources. They're talking about this sidebar here. So if we have a look at software manager here, edit and preferences, just stop that from showing that for starters. Software sources. So as you can see, they've got all these buttons here on the left, and now more consistent with these sidebars in the X apps and the welcome screen and the software sources. So if we look at the welcome screen as well, so in 19, the welcome screen had already been changed to the sidebar there, so as you can see. 19.1, it's there as well. But yeah, the big change is the software sources, preferences, software sources. I must have closed that accidentally, so there you go. There's your difference there. They also got this tool, such as a Mint report. You can have a read of that if you wish. So a new button was also added within the maintenance tab to remove duplicate entries in your repositories. So in the maintenance button, which is here, fix merge list, that's normally there. Remove duplicate entries. So okay, so you can get sometimes duplicate entries in some places, so it may be something you've uninstalled or something I think they're referring to. So that's pretty handy to have as well. So the input methods, now they've changed slightly the input and the keyboard. So if we have a look at settings in 19, you got your input method there. Now what they've done is now they've got the sidebar. So once again, a lot more consistency across the board with the look and feel of 19.1. So now it's changed from that, and they used to have the language and the input method here. Now what they have is, if you look at languages in 19 as opposed to 19.1, 19.1 just has these options here, the same as this, but it doesn't have this extra button, which is the input method. They've been separated. So the input method now is more of its own identity, and you've got this little choice up here as well. So that's where the differences are there with the input methods. So I like the way that Linux Mint has really gone for a little bit more consistency across the board in the look and feel of all their apps, looking really nice. And also Cinnamon 4 has received better FCI text support. Its keyboard applet now hides when that is running. Xreader improvements were made to look and feel of the document viewer. Thumbnails and page borders in particular look more crisp. So they're saying these thumbnails look more crisp. I haven't really got an example to show you on that one, to be honest. But we'll move on. And Z, its status bar was reworked. It now indicates whether the document is in tabs or spaces mode. So if we have a look at Z, so everything, it's got tab width here, use spaces, spaces. So it no longer says tab width there, but we have edit and preferences. And edit and preferences, and you can see well, that already had the sidebar in there, so a couple of things had changed in 19. It's the text editor moved to libp's Python 3 and the Meson build system. It now indicates whether the document is in tabs or spaces mode. tab or spaces mode. Oh yeah, okay, yep. So tab width or use spaces. Okay, that must be what they're referring to there. I don't really use that, to be honest, so I wasn't really 100% sure what they were talking about there. 4 new widgets are available in libx app, which is these ones here, which we just looked at. They're saying it makes it easier to create icon sidebars, the XApp stack sidebar, such as the ones used in welcome screen or the software sources, which we looked at. XApp Preferences window provides a multi-page preference window with a built-in icon sidebar. This component is used to display application preferences in Z, Reader and Nemo. So if we have a look at the XReader, which is the document viewer, well actually no, what we'll do is we'll go to here again. And once again, we will look at the comparisons. So XReader, edit and preferences. So yeah, that's changed to the toolbar on the side. So there's only a slight change in that one. But once again, back to the consistency. The consistency of look and feel, which is quite nice. And I'm not sure whether we looked at the, yeah, we did look at the preferences in Nemo, didn't we? I'm pretty sure. Yes, we did. Which has got the sidebar as well, just to be sure. So the XApp Icon Chooser dialog provides a dialog which lets you choose an icon name or an icon path. And the button also allows you to, it provides a button which shows an icon or an image and lets you choose a new one when clicked. So the best example of that would be, sorry, let's go back to here. So if we go to, let's right click the menu and configure and go to menu and open the menu editor. And we'll do the same in 19.1, open the menu editor. If we went to Internet and Firefox and go to properties, now you've got this button here. Now there may be other examples of this, but this is the one I could think of. So if we go to properties there. Now if we choose to change that icon and click on that, now this takes you to the icons and directly to the path of the app, only the icons in user share icons. What 19.1 does now is gives you once again the sidebar with choices, or you can browse. So if you choose browse, then you can choose the path just like this one. But this one here has, we are at the moment actions, applications, categories, devices. I'm not sure what it was in when we first opened it up. Firefox, so it's just so that's done its own search for Firefox. So if we went to applications, we could probably find some Firefox ones there, do a search, and we'll find those ones there. So, but what it's done is it's done its own search for you based on the application that you've chosen. So, and the sidebar again. So you've got a lot of different categories here that you can choose from. Really good. The only option you had here was to go digging through the user share icons and look for an icon. This is much better in 19.1. That's a huge change. So much easier. Other improvements was the firewall configuration was added to the first steps of the welcome screen. So if we just have a quick look at that. in the first steps, I think it's the last one, you can launch your firewall and put in your password, and that gives you the option to just turn the firewall on by toggling that over. The only problem is you've got to sort out, if you're using, like I do, your home network and moving things around in the home network, it can be a little bit tricky. Sometimes it just hard, depending what OS you're using, it's just can be a pain in the butt. Sometimes I just have to turn it off to get it working. So it's probably my lack of knowledge on all that stuff. To prevent you from typing your password into the wrong window and sending it online by mistake, sudo now shows asterisk when you type your password. Now this release ships with Linux firmware here and Linux kernel there. Artwork improvements. So there've been a huge amount of artwork improvements. So let's just have a look at that. And just so you can see, I'll choose Tessa. And we will just run through quickly the artwork in that. So there's some real stunning wallpapers in there, I must say. So we have these changes here in the theme department. The mint white dark, mint white darker themes are now available in aqua, blue, brown, grey, orange, pink, purple, red, sand and teal. Let's just have a look at a couple of those. So what we have is let's open this up, let's go to themes. And we now have in the controls area, we have mint white aqua, mint white aqua, mint white blue, mint white brown, mint white dark aqua, mint white dark blue, mint white dark brown, mint white darker aqua. So we have mint white and darker aqua. Oh, so you got a bit of a strip across the top there, okay. Mint white, darker blue and brown. Okay. So put it back on mint Y. So we'll just have a quick look at the themes in the desktop themes, and we have, you can ignore these other ones, I've already installed those, but you have mint white, dark, orange, grey. So there you have the mint white grey, mint white dark aqua. So you got the aqua color on the selection box there, or the hover box. Mint white dark blue, same again. So just slight variations in the colors is all that is, and brown. So plenty of colors to choose from if that's your style. Then that's pretty good. Red. And I think you'll find in the calendar it probably changes as well. So we'll go sand. There's the sand and the calendar. Sand as well, so it changes in the calendar as well. So there you go. And teal. Teal color and calendar. And probably in Nemo as well, maybe. No, it's not. Okay, so that's the desktop theme. So you've got a few themes. So they're the dark ones, and you've got your light ones as well. So mint Y aqua. So your hover box again is the same, and probably, yep, and the calendar's light and the menu is light. So that's where the changes are there. You got blue. Blue in the calendar. Blue hover box, yep. And teal, and now teal's changed the whole panel there. It's interesting. And you've got a slightly different calendar there as well, so that's an interesting change. So they're the mint Ys. So I only look, so that was the mint X one, that's why. So we're looking at the mint Ys, that's what we're looking at. So yeah, they don't change. Yep, okay. So that is the Mint Y and desktop themes. Mint Y themes were given more contrast, and what they're talking about there is, so let's open up Nemo and let's open up two lots. Okay, so if we have a look at the little word here, and also these probably the menus as well, the fonts in the menu, and these little icons here are just a bit more crisp. This has a bit more pop in it, as you can see, compared to here. So you can sort of see the screen in focus a bit better than this one here, because there's not a lot of pop in that one there. So that's what they're talking about there. As you can see in that description there and there. So to support both light and dark panels, Linux Mint 19.1 ships with symbolic status icons for Redshift, Mate Volume Control Applet, Onboard, and Network Manager Applet. So that is all things new in Linux Mint. Now that we've been through all the new things, there is a little hidden gem here that I'm not sure whether people are aware of. I don't know if anyone's made any videos about it. But what I'm going to do is show you now what that little hidden gem is, and something that I've been wanting for a very long time. If we have a look at the menu here, now I didn't notice this on fresh installs. I only noticed it on mine because I have a lot of favorites in my menu. So if we have a look at this menu, the height of this menu is a reasonable height, but if you have a look at my favorites, you can now scroll through the favorites. Isn't that fantastic? That is so welcomed in the Linux Mint menu. I've been wanting that for a very, very long time, and I'm so happy that they've done that. That is absolutely awesome. So great job there, Linux Mint. Now you can add as many favorites as you like. That panel does not increase in height, because that used to be very annoying. I used to find that very annoying when it did that. So in the applets we have inhibit applet in here. So we had something to do with inhibit applet. The inhibit applet shows inhibitors. So it shows inhibitors. So I'm really not sure. Somebody must use that. I've never used that before. I'm still trying to get my head around. Applets and desklets can now define custom widgets to use in their settings dialog. So applets. So in applets, if we add if we go to the settings dialog for calendar, we can choose to show numbers in calendar. Okay, there's numbers on the left. No numbers on the left now. I'm not sure if that's what it's referring to. That's the settings dialog, I believe. You can use a custom date. Show information on date format syntax, which takes you to a website, and it'll show you how to customize that. So, okay. And desolates. Add the digital photo frame. What options we got here? So you can choose which folder, shuffle. So I don't really know what they're talking about. Applets and desolates can now define custom widgets to use in their settings dialog. I'm not sure. I cannot cover that one. So that was a look around Linux Mint 19.1 and the new features. I haven't been through anything else. I think the new features was just the best things to go through on this one, because Linux Mint is Linux Mint at the end of the day. It's just good to know what the changes are in comparison to 19.1 and before that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it informative. Hope it helped somebody understand changes in the current Linux Mint 19.1. And thank you for watching.